Hi friends, welcome to Hyderabad IAS Academy classes. So as part of our current affairs topics, we are discussing few things which are very important, which are very much in news, and we'll discuss handful of news items today which are concerning the schemes and programs of those in recent news. And there are some other topics also. Let's discuss them. So one among those which we are discussing today is Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Gramin. So the important part you have to remember here is two words, which is Awas and Gramin. Awas and Gramin. So these are the two things which like whenever you are referring to any scheme or any program, lot of the details will be given straight away from the name itself. You can know exactly from the name what this particular scheme or program is for, or like what it is encouraging, what type of socio-economic parameter does a particular scheme promote. All these things, it's easy to identify whenever you are looking at the name of it. So the two keywords here are Gramin and Awas. That means housing concerned to Gramin means villages or rural areas. So any scheme for that matter, if you see, there is a objective or aim for the scheme. There is an objective or aim of the scheme, and eligibility is one more thing. Who are eligible, who are not eligible. These are the two main things. And what are the features of the scheme? What are the features of the scheme? Like what does that particular scheme benefits, and what are the services this particular scheme provides or promotes? All these things. These are the basic things you have to remember while reading or studying a scheme. So first thing, we'll approach it the same way. How are we approaching it? Let's see now. So the main aim of the scheme is to promote Paka houses with some basic amenities. Paka houses with some basic amenities. Where in rural areas. So because it is in rural areas, and who are eligible for these particular schemes? That is the next question. Those people who are living in dilapidated houses, those houses which do not have proper roof or proper wall or proper compound wall or there are certain facilities which a proper house has to have. So those people who are living in those houses which are in dilapidated condition, that means water leaking out of the roofs and a hole in a wall or such type of things. These people are in rural areas are eligible for this scheme. This eligibility is limited to those by the year 2022. Those people living in dilapidated houses by the year 2022, these people are eligible for this particular scheme. And remember, living in kacha houses which are severely damaged. That's what I mean. Dilapidated means these two things, which are kacha houses which are severely damaged. And another eligibility criteria is to those households who are living in rural areas Gram Sabha or the Gram Panchayat which is there, Gram Sabha or Gram Panchayat which is there, that particular Gram Sabha or Gram Panchayat has to verify the eligible people or the eligible households for this particular scheme. Understood? So obviously, which ministry will be the nodal ministry? That is rural development. So there is cost sharing. So this must imply a certain things to you. What does this particular thing has to imply? This particular thing has to imply that this scheme is central sponsored scheme. It's not central sector scheme, centrally sponsored scheme, because the costs are being shared between center and state. So 60-40 is a cost sharing between center and state to those states which are in plain areas. 90-10 is the cost sharing between center and state to those states which are in hilly terrain, mountainous regions and northeastern regions. this particular place includes state of Jammu and Kashmir also. Here Jammu and Kashmir is also there. And 100% central sponsor, like 100% cost sharing or 100% central cost bearing is done to few parts. Those are union territories, which is including Ladakh, and other union territories which are under the central government directly. So cost sharing is in this particular manner. So beneficiaries, how are beneficiaries identified? Beneficiaries are identified based on socio-economic caste census of 2011. Socio-economic caste census of 2011. See, this must be verified by Gram Sabha, and those people who are eligible, or those households who are eligible for this Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Gramin will get certain entitlements. They are entitled to certain things. One of that entitlements is 90 to 95 percentage for unskilled labor. This is given under Manrega scheme. Under Manrega, these households who are eligible for these schemes, will be provided, are entitled to. They are entitled to 90 to 95 percentage percentage of unskilled labor under Manrega scheme. So one more thing that is very important is, under this particular scheme, they will be provided, remember one more important fact, 1,20,000 per unit, 1,20,000 per unit for those households which are in plain areas, those states which are in plain areas, and 1,30,000 to those 1,30,000 per unit to those in the difficult terrain areas, like those areas which are under left-wing extremism and integrated development areas. All these areas come under difficult terrain areas, hilly areas and northeastern regions. So in these areas, per unit, the beneficiaries are entitled to 1,30,000 per unit. So what is 1 unit? 1 unit of household here is 25 square meters of area. So you have to understand that under this particular scheme, the development which is development of Pakka houses is provided for development of a house in this particular area, 1 unit, this particular unit area, not unit area, this particular area, at a cost of 1,30,000 per unit in hilly and northeastern areas and difficult terrain areas, and 1,20,000 per unit in plain areas. What is the size of the unit for building a Pakka house? 25 square meters. That is the unit size. And the main focus here is providing proper kitchen facility. We all know that in rural areas and most of the villages, they still practice cooking using wood. They still practice cooking using wood. So this will generate lot of pollution, and the pollution which this accumulates causes lot of respiratory problems, especially to the women households who are cooking inside the closed areas. So keeping that in mind, proper kitchen is also provided. Like while designing the Pakka house, area which is specified especially for kitchen area is allocated in this particular unit area. So those are the little facts about this particular scheme, and as part of this particular scheme, they are promoting construction of toilets. Assistance will be provided for construction of toilets. How much is the assistance that will be provided for construction of toilets? That is 12,000. 12,000 will be provided under Swachh Bharat Gramin scheme. And the payments concerning this particular scheme or this particular program are directly electronically transferred to the bank accounts or post office accounts of those particular beneficiaries or households. So I hope you guys understood the details about this particular scheme. This is certainly important scheme for us, because this is in news, one thing, and this is a lot related to socio-economic development of rural areas and those particular households who are lacking a Pakka house and basic amenities. Understood? Let's move to the next topic. So this is one important scheme that is in news, that is with respect to PVTGs, Janjati Adivasi Nyaya Maha Abhiyan, Pradhan Mantri Janjati Adivasis Nyaya Maha Abhiyan. In this context, this is particularly related to few things. Just remember that providing PVTG PVTG households with certain socio-economic infrastructure. And since that PVTGs is here, we'll discuss few facts regarding PVTGs. So first thing, whenever there is something in news with regarding PVTGs, remember the static part or the facts regarding PVTGs. So firstly, you have to remember that there are 75 PVTGs in India in 18 states and 1 union territory. You have to let me know what is that, but 1 union territory. So there are 75 PVTGs in 18 states and 1 union territory. Initially, there were not. Initially, the PVTGs are not 75, but 52. Later on, certain tribal groups were added into this group, and now at this point of time, currently we have 75 PVTGs. So this categorization of PVTGs is done based on Debar Commission report. Debar Commission has given certain criteria for identifying the PVTGs. These PVTGs, there are 75 numbers. So you have to remember this, tribal groups are different and particularly vulnerable tribal groups are different. That is PVTGs. These two are very different. There is a stark difference in identifying the characteristics. So for PVTGs, one important thing, like there are 4 important criteria, that is population, literacy, economy. Population, for identifying these people, are population with respect to it may be stagnant population or dwindling population. That means the population must be reducing. Literacy, low levels of literacy. Economy, very low economy. And one more criteria is the type of society they are living in, that is primitive society. Or the type of technology, you can say not a society but technology. The technology they follow is primitive technology for any purpose. These are the 4 criterion where used to identify PVTGs. One is population, that is the population may be either stagnant or dwindling population. The levels of literacy is very low or no literacy, low or no literacy at all. And economy is like they have very low. Mostly, like forget about economy, mostly these people will be using what type of system for exchange of goods? Barter system. That is what they use. And the economy is very small and like very micro level. And the type of technology they use is primitive technology. These are the few facts regarding PVTGs. Please do identify. So this is something related to the scheme. So what does this scheme tells about is in one statement or in single statement, if you have to tell, Pradhan Mantri Janjati Adivasi Nyaya Maha Abhiyan is for the socio-economic development of PVTGs. Simply telling socio-economic development of PVTGs and promoting them and protecting them very, very precisely to tell. So to promote them socio-economically or to provide them with basic facilities, this particular scheme is launched. To protect their households and to provide certain basic facilities to these households and habitations. What are these basic facilities is what is given here. Like basic facilities like everyone needs is housing, access to clean drinking water, proper health facilities. These are the few things which are very much essential for anybody. So those are the very much those things are the few things which are mentioned for the promotion of PVTGs. That is housing, clean drinking water, sanitation, basic any rural economy or any urban economy or any urban household or rural household or any human household needs these basic things. And then education and health. health, not just normal health, and with respect to food and the kind nature of the food they eat may not be nutritious. So promoting certain nutritious food, promoting nutrition over there, and connecting through telecom. Telecom connectivity is one peculiar or something unique, some unique feature that is provided under this scheme. Everything else is, we all know, socio-economic parameters. What is it? Housing, drinking, sanitation, health, education and nutrition, we all know, and sustainable livelihood opportunities, we all know. And telecom is one, this is something unique over here, telecom connectivity, road and telecom connectivity. Road also is okay, we all know that, but telecom connectivity. So in order to promote PVTGs with these particular things, and especially when it comes to providing livelihood opportunities, it is essential to protect Forest Rights Act. Forest Rights Act, to stringently and very purposefully implement Forest Rights Act. Because in one of my earlier videos or few earlier classes, I have told there are few forest rights which are for the individuals in the tribal groups and also the communities in the tribal groups. So it's essential to know, it's very important to know Forest Rights Act, and certain things or certain provisions which are implemented through Forest Rights Act will actually provide them proper livelihood opportunities. So if at all you have to tell something about providing livelihood opportunities, you can always refer to the Forest Rights Act for this segment. And there is also one more thing. There are many other things, but here Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana and another scheme, PM Poshan, Jan Dhan Yojana, these are few schemes. So for the upliftment of PVTGs, for their socio-economic development and for their healthy existence, Government of India has brought in certain programs. One among those is PVTG Development Mission. It's a mission. Whenever there is something called mission, there are sub-programs attached to it. Please remember. So keeping that in mind, for promotion of or encouraging or ensuring the safety and protection of PVTGs and their households and habitations, the government is taking forward all these socio-economic schemes, all these socio-economic welfare schemes within the reach of the PVTGs. That's what this particular scheme, scheme or program promotes. And with respect to PVTG Development Mission, there are many sub-programs under this. We'll discuss that whenever time comes or whenever there is a discussion on it. But remember, in this particular scheme, it was mentioned in our recent union budget, and somewhere around 15,000 crores are allocated under this particular mission. 15,000 crores is allocated under this particular mission, and this particular scheme is different in a certain way. What is the difference here is proper identification and recognition. What happens is, as part of, there are few concerns raised with respect to identification and recognition, that few PVTGs are not identified as tribal groups in few states. In few states, few PVTGs are not identified as tribal groups. That identification will be made robust and very much precise and accurate, so that the beneficiaries who are eligible will not move away or will not be in a position that they can't receive the services of this particular scheme. That is very important. This particular scheme is bringing forward the proper identification and recognition of these particular PVTGs and other tribes. And participatory bottom-up approach. So participation of those tribal groups, participation of those Gram Sabhas, or participation of those communities, tribal communities, is made mandatory, or it's the key issue with respect to implementation or chalking out the plans or designing a plan. While planning or designing a plan or implementing a plan or on deciding certain issues or taking decisions, this particular program will promote bottom-up approach. That means it will make all the stakeholders of in the PVTGs as part of the planning process. That's what it means. And livelihood promotion. Livelihood promotion, I've told you, livelihood promotion can be made by ensuring a proper and stringent implementation of Forest Rights Act for many PVTGs. And then health, nutrition and education. Promoting their health, nutrition and education. We all know Vandhan Yojana, and then Eklavya schools, Eklavya residential schools, all these comes in promotion of this thing. And infrastructure development like roads, telecoms and connectivities, all those things as part of this particular scheme. In these areas it's going to be different and more, it's going to be more reachable to those PVTGs which are not there. So this particular scheme is very important. Please try to know more details if at all you have about this particular scheme. Next, little insights into certain current affairs, very much current affairs, chemicals or compounds which are in news. So India, Argentina, they are close to signing a remarkable deal with respect to lithium production and export. So why does India want lithium so badly? Because one of the major sources of pollution in India is vehicular pollution. So lot of smoke, lot of dust and pollution from fossil fuel or combustion engines is one of the major factor for pollution in India. In order to reduce the pollution in that particular segment, we have to move we are actually moving towards electric vehicles. Electric vehicles is one important segment or area where our focus is on. The government's focus is on, and many private players are also focusing on that. So electric vehicles need some batteries to charge. So while manufacturing these electric vehicles, we need lithium because they are basically made up of lithium-ion batteries. Those batteries are lithium-ion batteries. That is the major requirement for India. And at the same time, lithium, when it is mixed with the alloys of aluminium, it forms a light compound and very strong compound, which is used in aviation and other high-speed rail networks and all these things. These are the basic needs which we have today. In light of that particular requirements, India has signed the deal with Argentina. One main thing that India had to sign this particular deal or is almost about to finalize this particular deal is two things. Remember, the production costs of lithium in Argentina is far lower than the global market. What are the things? The production costs of lithium in Argentina is lower than the global standard, or what we actually think, or what actually has to be. That is one thing. And India wants to, one thing is lower production cost, and other one is the China factor. What is the China factor? India wants to reduce its dependence on China for lithium. India wants to reduce its dependence on China for lithium because, and one more thing, remember, the highest amount of reserves of lithium are found in Chile. Highest amount of reserves of lithium are found in Chile. So remember, these are the few facts. And what is lithium about? Lithium is also called white gold. Lithium is also called white gold of EVs, because every electric vehicle you see on the road today does contain lithium-ion batteries, because without those batteries it doesn't run. And lithium, I told you, when alloyed with aluminum or magnesium, it's stronger, it's lighter but very strong. And biologically, it doesn't have any, it is not part of any human biology, but it is important, you have to remember, it is toxic. Except in minute quantities, it's fine, but you have to remember, it is toxic. So here you can see some definition which I have given, that is with respect to critical minerals. There is a very much a lot of details in the news with respect to critical minerals. Critical minerals There is significant news about it. Please do study about it. But here I have mentioned the critical minerals because lithium is a critical mineral. Lithium, there are 30 other minerals which are critical minerals. Examples, lithium and REE. What are REEs? Rare earth elements. Rare earth elements. You also have to remember that rare earth elements is something, some news regarding rare earth elements is in news. What is the news is China has reduced its costs on the technologies for exploration of rare earth elements. So, rare earth elements are found in various places, in the offshores especially. In the offshores, deep under the seas and oceans, rare earth elements are present. And India was given permission by international organization and United Nations organization which is responsible for international laws with respect to oceans. India was given permission to explore rare earth elements. So, India is about to do it, and like India wants to do it because rare earth elements are certain important elements, important compounds or chemicals which are essential for the technologies which we are using today. So, rare earth elements, what China did, those technologies or those equipment which are used for rare earth elements exploration, on those products the China has increased the costs. You have to understand the equation what's happening there. So before apart from going into that, we'll stick to what are critical minerals. Simply telling, critical minerals is, if you have critical minerals and if you are not tapping those critical minerals, that means say India has critical minerals and these critical minerals are in certain mines or in some certain form. If those minerals are not properly explored or not properly extracted and utilized, that will keep that particular country, or for example we have taken India, that will keep India in a disadvantageous position economically, and it will put India behind in the supply chain management also, Understood? I hope you understand. There is a particular critical mineral ore in India. Say that we have a critical mineral ore in India. If India is not making proper use of it, if it's not exploring that particular mineral, India will fall behind economically. Economically, it will be in a disadvantageous position and will fall behind or cut down the supply chain of it. That's what the critical mineral means. That means a mineral which is essential for economy of a country, if tapped, that will help the economy of a country. If not properly explored, that will put India's economy in, or any country's economy in, disadvantageous position. And at the same time, if this particular mineral is not properly mined or not properly put into the supply chain or into the market, that will cause supply chain mismatches or supply chain breakdowns. That's what this particular critical mineral means. So this is a definition or definition sort of thing you can know about it. That is important for economic development, important for national security, and lack of these minerals or exploring these minerals in your particular location will lead to supply chain vulnerabilities or disruptions in supply. That's what this critical minerals means. So these are the few topics for us in current affairs today. We'll again meet in another video with few more topics. Until then, take care and stay safe.